So this is an old book from my high school nurse who had it in her cabinet. She actually had a bunch of copies of this in her cabinet, and it is dated June 1953. The title of the book is Overweight and Underweight, and it comes to us from the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company from New York. I'm only going to read just a few pages from this book, and then if you want the rest, I am considering selling this book or putting it up for auction somewhere. And if I decide to do that, I'll leave a link below. Unfortunately, the copy I have is missing pages. So somebody tore out everything up to page 5 after the table of contents. So I'll start where I can. Backaches, foot problems, constant fatigue, and a host of daily discomforts. They have more fun buying clothes. Normal weight is worth any effort it takes to reach and keep, worth it in terms of everyday comfort and of a healthier, longer life. Overweight and its dangers. Anyone who is 15 or more pounds heavier than his desirable weight is considered overweight. For those still in their 20s or younger, a little extra weight does no harm. For people over 30, it is not good. Overweight is a danger signal, particularly for those over 40. Studies of life insurance figures show that overweight people are apt to develop diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and other life-shortening conditions earlier and to die younger than people whose weight is normal. They are poor surgical risks and have less resistance to infection. Stout women are more likely to develop complications in pregnancy. What makes a person fat? Most people are fat simply because they eat too much. This does not necessarily mean that they stuff themselves with large quantities of food. It does mean that they take in more calories than their bodies can use. This is often surprisingly easy to do, particularly for a person who has poor eating habits. Some people blame their overweight on metabolism, the rate at which their bodies use energy, and on the glands which regulate metabolism. In a very few cases, poorly functioning glands may contribute to overweight. Even then, the overweight patient who is under a physician's treatment for glandular disorders is able to lose weight when his food intake is regulated. What many people do not realize, however, is that the body's energy requirements usually change after age 30 or 40. As a person gets older, metabolism slows down and fewer calories are needed to maintain weight. The trouble is that eating habits usually stay exactly the same, while physical activity often decreases. Heredity is often claimed as a cause of overweight. Careful studies do not bear this out. Heredity does determine the type of body build a person has, but when people from overweight families change their eating habits, it has been proved that they too can lose weight. Actually, most overweight people readily admit that their excess poundage comes from overeating. They say they just don't seem to be able to stop. Knowing why a thing is hard to do sometimes makes it easier to change. Why do people overeat? Many people eat more than they need for reasons that have little to do with hunger. Habit is one of them. Eating habits are set in patterns which have been followed for years. Such patterns are not always easy to change, but with persistence and determination, they can be altered. Some people develop the habit of overeating because good food and plenty of it is a family tradition. Some fall into the habit because of sociability. They eat more frequently and so consume greater amounts of food than they need. Some people consider food as a symbol of success or social standing, and so eating rich food and too much of it becomes a custom. Not infrequently, the habit is established in pregnancy, in convalescence from some illness, or in other situations when extra food may be required. Some common reasons have their roots in the emotions. Some people eat constantly because they are bored and eating is something pleasant to do. Others, because they are lonely or feel unloved, or suffer from discontent about money, job, family relationships, or social standing. People who overeat for such reasons usually find it necessary to do something about their emotional problems before they are able to tackle their eating habits successfully. How to lose weight. Physical condition, degree of overweight, and individual living habits must all be carefully evaluated before an effective, safe reducing plan can be worked out. No one can do all this for himself. Only a physician has the necessary skill and equipment to decide how much, how fast, and with what treatment a person should lose weight. What benefits one may harm another. Therefore, a reducing program should be undertaken only under medical supervision. Anyone who really wants to get rid of excess poundage can do so. Lots of people have, with determination and persistence. Desire and willpower are musts in any reducing program. Everyone knows that self-denial is not easy and that changing long-established habits taxes the strongest will. Therefore, a person who is trying to do this difficult job deserves the help and support of his family and friends. Few people are able to persist in any course of action in the face of commiseration, indifference, ridicule, or opposition from those they love and respect. To be worth anything, a loss of weight must be permanent. Therefore, anyone who wants to benefit from a weight reduction program must make up his mind that he is changing his eating habits for life. Going back to old patterns will only pile up the pounds all over again. Unless this fact is accepted, reducing efforts will probably be wasted. The body's need for food. Awake or asleep, the body needs energy for every breath, every heartbeat, every activity of living. Food supplies this energy, which is measured in units called calories. When a person eats only enough to supply the energy he needs, his weight stays the same. If he takes in more calories than he needs, the excess is stored as fat. If his food adds up to fewer calories than he needs, his body takes the extra energy out of its storehouse of fat and a loss in weight occurs. Reducing diets are based on this simple principle, taking in fewer calories than needed to force the body to use its stored fat. Foods vary in the number of calories they contain. As most people know, fats of all kinds have the most calories. 1 tablespoon of butter, for example, has in it about as many calories as a good slice of lean roast beef, or a cup of beets, or a quarter of a pound of cod steak. Sugars, alcohol, and starches are the most richest sources of calories. Starches include cereals, flour, and everything made with flour, potatoes, peas, beans, and corn. When calories must be cut down to make the body use stored fat, alcoholic drinks and foods rich in fats, sugars, and starches are the first to be restricted. However, no one can lose weight safely by counting calories alone. In the 1920s, when a slim, boyish figure was in style, many girls and women made themselves seriously ill by reducing their weight without regard to the kinds of food they ate. For good health, food must supply everyone, young and old alike, with more than calories. The body is constantly repairing and renewing itself. New cells are always growing to replace those worn out in doing their work. In babies, children, and young people, cell making is going on at top speed because actual growth is taking place. As in any building process, the right materials are needed. The body's most essential building and maintenance materials are found in proteins. Foods richest in proteins include milk, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and cheese. 2 other elements necessary for health are vitamins and minerals. Some of these are found in the same foods which are rich in protein. Others are found in grain products, fruits, vegetables, and fats. To ensure a well-balanced diet, made up of the protective foods containing enough proteins, vitamins, and minerals, everyone should have daily milk, 2 or more glasses for adults, 4 or more for children and expectant nursing mothers. Vegetables, 2 or more servings, green or yellow. Fruits, 2 servings, 1 a citrus fruit or tomato. Eggs, 1, at least 3 to 5 a week. Meat, fish, poultry, or cheese, 1 or more servings. Dried legumes may be substituted occasionally. Cereal and bread, 2 servings, whole grain or enriched. Fats, 1 to 3 tablespoons. In reducing diets, some of the fat allowance may be in the cream in whole milk. People who are not overweight can add what they like to this list in the way of other foods and second helpings to make up their caloric requirements. People who want to lose weight can add little or nothing. That is the only real difference between a well-balanced normal diet and well-balanced reducing diet. Because this difference often means restrictions on cakes, pastries, extra butter, rich sauces, cocktails, beer, soft drinks, and other high-calorie favorites, it is a hard one for many people to accept. Nevertheless, it must be accepted by everyone who wants to lose weight. Few people claim that the first few days on a reducing diet are happy ones. Some individuals find it easier to adjust than others, but all agree that the period of discomfort does not last too long if they persevere. They also claim that a wonderful feeling of physical vigor and liberation follows as they lose weight. The ability to bend down again with ease, the disappearance of unsightly bulges, and the pleasure of buying smaller sizes in clothes are among the things which amply compensate for any early discomfort. The body's need for exercise. Every healthy person needs exercise. Daily physical exertion is good for muscle tone and circulation. It also helps to relieve the tension many people pile up in the course of a day's work. Regular exercise, if not carried to the point of increasing hunger, can help in a reducing program, because the more active a person is, the more calories he needs to burn. But for the overweight individual, exercise can never replace eating less. A person would have to walk about 5 miles to use up the calories in 1 chocolate sundae. He would have to saw wood for an hour or so to offset a piece of apple pie, or walk about a mile to work off 2 graham crackers. Obviously, it is simpler to avoid eating the sundae, the pie, or the crackers than to try to exercise them off. The decision about exercising while losing weight should be left to the physician supervising the reducing program. The kind and amount of extra physical activity which he advises will depend on age, physical condition, and previous habits. For children and young patients, he will probably advise lots of exercise and active sports. For older people, he may not prescribe anything more strenuous than walking. For people with heart or circulatory conditions, he may caution against any exercise. The necessity for tailoring the treatment to the individual in this way is one of the reasons why a reducing program should be undertaken only under medical supervision. Page 12, and this is the final page I'm going to read. What about shortcuts? No one who has taken on the job of losing weight will say that the self-denial involved is pleasant. It is only natural to wonder if there isn't an easier way. What about drugs, steam baths, massage, or other quick methods? Any drug which can increase the body's rate of burning calories enough to effect weight reduction without dieting is dangerous. One drug, released in the early 1930s without medical sanction, worked, but it also caused deafness. blindness, and paralysis before it was withdrawn from the market. Even if drugs are prescribed by a physician, they will be used in addition to, not in place of, a diet. Many people wonder about steam baths and massage as a shortcut. Steam baths are often a delusion. The profuse sweating which a steam bath induces is apt to cause a sudden drop in weight because of water loss. Thirst soon makes the average person replace the lost water, and his weight is usually exactly what it was before. Swedish massage is a relaxing luxury for those who can afford it. It is good for the circulation and helps to keep tissues in firm condition. However, it will not take off pounds nor allow additions to the diet. Nobody likes to believe unpleasant truths. Therefore, the search for shortcuts goes on. 10-day wonder diets, special foods, spot-reducing gadgets. Many of these fads are harmless, though expensive and ineffective. Some suggest, in small print, that special low-calorie diets should be followed, thus acknowledging the disagreeable truth that there is no way to reduce safely without eating less. It all boils down to this: no easy way is safe, no safe way is easy. Again, I'm going to consider selling this book either directly or through an auction. Either way, I'm going to read the rest of it myself. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and if you are out there trying to reduce your weight, best of luck to you. If I can do it, so can you. I was 215 pounds. I got down to 164, and I still have basically 25 pounds to go until I'm in my healthy weight range. I guess more realistically about 15 pounds, but 140, 145 is like my ideal goal weight. I could even go lower really if I wanted to get the six packs, abs and all that stuff. But anyway, best of luck to everybody. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all enjoyed the book. Thank you again to the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company for writing this book back in 1953.